So between the ETF apps being approved by the United States regulators and the Bitcoin halving, I couldn't be more bullish on Bitcoin right now, which leads us to our next story of the day, which is going to be a $1 billion prediction from one of the largest asset managers in the world, which is Fidelity. Let's break this down, then we'll dive into our live Q&A. Make sure to say hello in the live chat. Let me know where you're tuning in from. A massive shout out to everyone interacting. I greatly appreciate all the continued support. So here we go. $1 billion. That's a lot of zeros. That is 9 to be exact. In 2021, $1 billion seems like a lot of money. FYI, Fidelity initially made this prediction in 2021. Also want to point out here from some tweets, Fidelity, head of sales, quoting them here, "We started mining and accumulating Bitcoin all the way back in 2014. I bet you a lot of you did not know that. This was kind of under the radar, but they have been accumulating BTC almost for the past decade. So is this a surprise that they're predicting a $1 billion Bitcoin price by 2038? They're putting their money where their mouth is." But anyways, we have Jurian Timmer, director of global macro of Fidelity, believing that one Bitcoin could be worth $1 billion per coin by the year 2038. Send it and let's go. Timmer also believes that the orange coin could hit $1 million before this decade is over, which means by the year 2030, roughly 7 years away. So that would represent a 20x multiple of the current Bitcoin market price of 48,000, but now obviously we're half that price of what we was, so that would now be 40x. And I know anyone can make predictions like that, but Timmer lays out his cause using his own valuation model and another well-known model, which we all know here on the channel, known as the stock to flow. Timmer's demand model is based upon Metcalfe's law. Metcalfe holds that as the number of users of a network grows linearly, the value of the network grows exponentially. Thus, if the number of users doubled, its value would grow at 4 times, or the square of 2. Now, Timmer's demand model grows steadily to about $1 million by the year 2030, as outlined right here in this Fidelity chart. Now, by contrast, now let's discuss the stock to flow model created by synonymous analysts. Plan B is based on the supply of new coins growing at a decreasing rate each year. This occurs because of the built-in halvings every 4 years. So given increases in adoption and demand, the result will be prices expanding exponentially. Indeed, the price of Bitcoin has grown approximately 10x every 4 years. Take that, Peter Schiff. These are facts. Not just by 50% slowdown in supply. Pretty powerful stuff. That's right. Now, stock to flow predicts even faster growth in the price than does Timmer's demand model, especially after the year 2030. As I commonly cover here in the show, the stock to flow model is projecting roughly a $500,000 Bitcoin price past the halving in 2024. In fact, the model shows a very wide array in their expectation, anywhere from $100,000 to $1 million, with a $500,000 being dead in the middle. Hence, in a couple of episodes previously, if you missed it, we discussed Plan B's most recent prediction, which he shared on his YouTube channel, that he believes the Bitcoin price will be north of $530,000 per coin, preceding the Bitcoin halving in 2024. But let's get back to this math. This is the stock to flow model you're looking at right here. Now let's go back over here. This is some more insights. Timmer stated the value of the dollar changes in relation to other assets, and he further pointed out that just a dollar invested in stocks in the 18th century would be worth $4 billion in today's money. Isn't that insanity? Talk about super hyperinflation. So going by this assumption, $1 million in today's money can be worth $1 billion in 20 years' time. Good Lord, you better start stacking them stats now, fam. So changes in the dollar's value, especially depreciation over several decades, render the same amount with less purchasing power, which is why huge sums back then appear less by today's standards. For instance, $1 million can purchase a lot of significant things a few decades ago, but in today's perspective, reasonably higher end houses in the US cost between, I would say, $200,000 and $500,000. The same $1 million may not suffice for the same class of houses today. This is a fact. Just here in Puerto Rico alone, I've seen the real estate market literally shoot up 100 to 300% since moving to this island roughly 4 years ago. And that's not just an exception to the rule. It's all across the United States. Hyperinflation. I mean, check out the rent prices. That will give us some insights to the true nature of inflation. You can check out Zillow, check out real estate 5 years ago in comparison today, and you'll probably see something quite similar. But anyways, anyways, there's an increasing number of billionaires across the globe. Facts. Some observers even believe we may see the first trillionaire in this lifetime. I think it could potentially be CZ, the Binance CEO, or even Michael Saylor of MicroStrategy. Now, the same applies to organizations, with several companies now passing the $1 trillion mark valuation cap. Fidelity previously pegged Bitcoin to hit $1 million in the initial prediction made by Jurrien Timmer by the year 2035. However, he ultimately said, we're way too conservative. Let's move this target on up from $1 million by the year 2035 to $1 billion by the year 2038. So there you have it. Do you feel the Bitcoin price can likely exceed their conservative target of $1 million by the year 2030 within the next 7 years and hit as high as $100 million to $1 billion per coin by the year 2038? Let me know your honest thoughts in the comments right down below.